This is Season 5 of The Score, the Team Roping Journal's podcast, where we cover the roping industry from top to bottom. This is where the team roping world talks. We talk through tough subjects, we talk big wins, and we talk real issues affecting the community. I'm your host and editor of the Team Roping Journal, Chelsea Schaefer. Today's episode is brought to you by Bimeda. Bimeda might just be the biggest animal health company you've never heard of, till now. Bimeda's products have been trusted by veterinarians and owners since the 1960s, when their Irish roots began. Bimeda is one of the largest producers of dewormers like Equimax, Bimectin, and Exodus. And its world-renowned athletes also rely on polyglycan, a patented formula that replaces lost or damaged synovial fluid, and Confidence EQ, pheromone gel, which reduces and prevents equine stress. Consult your vet and visit BimedaUS.com to see where to buy. Hey everyone, this is Chelsea Schaefer. Welcome to The Score. This is the last official episode of 2022, and I am so glad you have all stuck with us all year, that you have stuck with us for 5 years, and that this podcast keeps growing. It is absolutely unbelievable that people are going back and listening to some of those very early episodes that I recorded in some trucks with guys like Aaron Sinigeni and Trevor Brazil and Billy Jack Sabins way back at the beginning of The Score. That was in 2018. This is fixing to be 2023, and we are so grateful you are still here. On this last episode of The Score, I wanted you to all listen, if you hadn't yet, to the most popular episode of 2022, especially because there are lots of new people who have come to join us since the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. If you all got hooked on that content and loved listening to the play-by-play that we did during the NFR, now you get to go back and listen to the episode that we did with Derek Begay. He is the one and only, and he has what we call on our staff the Derek Begay effect. There is just something about when we do content with Derek, whether it's a story, a podcast, a video, that brings people out of the woodwork to enjoy his demeanor, what he has to say. He's got so much wisdom, and he's really one of the funniest people and most insightful people that I know. And I am so grateful that we have The Score, so you get to enjoy long conversations with Derek, just like I do. And without further ado, here is Derek Begay. This was recorded in April of 2022. Hey Derek, it's been, I don't know, when was the last time you were on The Score? Last year?
When it first came out.
Oh yeah. We sat in Reno. We sat in Reno and talked outside.
It was 22 years ago.
22, it feels like it. It feels like it. What year did you buy your card? How long ago? How long have you been at this?
I don't know exactly when I bought my card. It's been a while ago. I bought it and I was healing, just circuit rodeoing.
Uh-huh.
And then when I actually come to like heading and entering every weekend, It was in 2007 after the Hork Dog, and my first rodeo was Guyman. So Guyman's coming up next week. So since 2007, Guyman is when I feel like I really started. But I bought my card before that.
Were they muleys in 2007 at Guyman?
Yes.
Yes. Do you like to get the necks? Do you like roping muleys?
Yes, I would. Like if we just did it every day, day in, day out for a living. Probably not, but to Guyman and Clovis I had last week and places like that, it's fun every now and then.
Now, you just got back from the California run. How many, have you always gone to California, or have there been years that you missed it?
It feels like I always go. I'm sure I missed it a few years, but it seems like I always don't want to go but end up going. They're good rodeos. They're just, you're only there for 2 weeks and it feels like you're there for a month, but they're good to go to. I like them.
Well, and you darted back to Texas to go to San Angelo, right? How many flights did you have to take back and forth? Just one?
Well, we were in San Angelo towards the beginning of the rodeo. We had to charter there and send horses, and then we ended up making short rounds, so we had to fly back over there and back and forth. It was expensive, but it worked out. Glad it did.
Oh, you have to go back. Okay, we're going to hit our stride on this podcast. So you have to go back and tell me about going from the BFI to San Angelo. What happened? How did you guys get up that way? And what did you have to do?
San Angelo, there's one set that goes right over the BFI the same day of the BFI, and we ended up getting up that day. We didn't enter for that, but that's what we got. There was 3 other teams that did the same thing. There was Clay Smith and Jade Corkill, and then there was Britton Hall and Chase Tryon. So all 3 of us got together, and we decided to pitch in and charter a jet. So that was our plan. So that's what we did that day, and I didn't do no good at the BFI, so as Clay and Jade didn't do no good, but Britton and Chase, they ended up doing good, so they were actually 5th high call, but as soon as we run our 5th steer, we rushed out of there, and we rushed to the airport, and we flew down to San Angelo that same day. We got there just in time to rope, so it was a long day that day.
But I think your nephew, James, he was, what callback? He was in the top 10 at the BFI as far as going into the short round. Do you remember what call he was?
No, the 5th round started, and then Clay Smith and Jade roped before we did, so they were waiting for us outside the car, and then as soon as me and Colter ran our 5th steer, we just rode right out of the building, and they're waiting on us, so we jumped in the car and we rushed to the airport, and I never really could keep track. We kind of kept track a little bit before the plane took off, and then the flight was an hour and 10 minutes, so at that time I didn't know what my nephew JP, I didn't know what high call he was, because the roping was still going on when we left, so the whole time I was thinking, well, I didn't know he made the short round. I know he caught 5. He was doing good. So I think when we left, I think he was maybe 4th high call, maybe, by the time we left. Something like that. So anyway, we were up in the air the whole time. We were just thinking, well, I wonder what high call he is, when the short round's going to start, stuff like that. I wanted to watch him. So anyway, we landed in San Angelo, and as soon as the wheels stopped on that plane, we opened the door and we jumped out. We had a truck waiting there for us, and we jumped in the truck. So by the time we got in the truck, I turned my phone on, and they were on Britton Hall and Chase Tryon. I believe they were like 5th high call or 6th high call. And we watched them rope, and we were cheering for them because they were supposed to be with us, but they ended up doing better over there. But so anyway, I guess JP roped right before I turned my phone on. I didn't know that. So I guess he did good, and he was winning the roping, but I was just watching it. They went from 5th high call, 4th high call, 3rd high call, 2nd, 1st, and it seemed like the short round kind of didn't go as planned for a lot of those guys. It kind of fell apart. Anyway, so I didn't know how JP did. I was like, well, we'll see how he did whenever they say the results. Anyway, they run the last team. I'm like, okay, these guys are our champions, and 2nd goes to James Arvizo and his partner. That's when I was like, wow. I didn't know that the whole time. So maybe I was kind of glad I didn't watch, because I would have been really nervous.
People think you're like so stoic, but you just don't really show it. You're a nervous guy in general. Yeah,
I'm nervous. I get stressed and get excited. So I do all the above.
Yeah, it's funny when people talk about you and they'll make people who don't know you will make comments about how you're just so serious or so, I don't know, they definitely don't know you because you get nervous.
Yeah, I get nervous, and I do get mad too. I mean, there's sometimes I just want to just yell or maybe even cuss or hit something, but I don't do it. Or even if I win some, I feel like throwing my hat or jumping off my horse, but I just never do it.
I feel like you always do make the same face, though, like you smile and look over at your partner when you do win something.
Yeah, like, wow, did we just do that?
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out. But no, I was happy for my nephew. That was the highlight of that day and the highlight of the year so far, getting in to see him butt heads with the big dogs. And so it was fun. It was good for him.
Heck yeah. I mean, he was the kid, for everybody who might not know who James is, like, he first came to fame when you started making the finals and he was like the little kid dancing in the stands, correct? They used to show him on TV, didn't they?
Yeah, that's him. He used to be a dancer, but you won't get him to dance no more.
That's funny, no? And you've told me before, you don't really there's not a lot of coaching that goes on in your family. Is that the case?
Well, for me, I don't really say much to him. My dad's the one that works on more than anybody or me. I don't. Mm-hmm. I know he likes doing it enough, and he's going to figure it out. It seems like when somebody really likes doing something, whether it's roping or whatever, I mean, you just got to say something every now and then that you really just see black and white. But if somebody likes something enough, they'll keep doing it and they'll figure it out. So that's why I don't really say much to him. Because he's going to do it enough, I think, that he'll figure it out, whatever he's doing wrong or right.
And his horse, so, okay, there's just, I think it's so interesting because there's so many little connections here. So you were roping with Coulter at the BFI, and you won San Angelo with Coulter. How did you get Coulter out of Willcox, Arizona?
Well, first of all, he's my best friend, so I talk to him a lot about stuff that doesn't involve roping. And then just being around the house here, I needed someone to heal from these circuit rodeos and the jackpots. I just got to bugging him like, hey, you want to heal? And he's had it professionally for when he used to rodeo, so I think it's maybe the healing part that kind of makes him want to go, I'm thinking. Because everybody loves to heal. So I think he likes to heal a little bit, and he's my circuit partner right here around Arizona. Mm-hmm. And then I needed a partner for the BFI, so I was like, hey, you want to come up to Guthrie? And he's like, yeah, I'll go up there. His boys are roping too. His boys are getting old enough now where they want to go to jackpots and stuff, so he's leaving the house a lot more than he used to. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. Anyway, San Angelo is going on at the same time. I mean, we're planning on entering the same day as it, but it was going on at the same time, so I was like, hey, I need a partner at San Angelo. You want to just go there? I kind of really didn't ask him. I just kind of told him, like, hey, I need a partner there. I'm going to hear us. He's like, okay. So that was one of those rodeos that was kind of the way over to the way by. So I got him to go to that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Coulter's my best friend, and he had this little buckskin horse that he kind of started and got going and started to head on and take to the amateur rodeos and ranch horse and pick up broncs and stuff, and pretty good little mare that he had it on. I liked her and stuff. I just never really asked if she wanted to sell her. So my nephew, he asked him one day to ask her rodeo, and they got together. Anyway, he ended up getting this little buckskin from him. So he got her last winter in December and ended up riding her at the finals, and I got to ride her a little bit this winter, and so he was kind of helping JP kind of figure out this horse, how to ride her, what to do, this and that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, at the BFI, JP's riding this horse that comes from Coulter, and Coulter's my partner. So we were his number one fans. I mean, I was cheering for him. I was kind of more there for him, felt like. And then, obviously, when you get a horse from somebody, you kind of get that connection still. So it was fun get to rope with Coulter and watching my nephew rope, and my sister and my brother-in-law and Coulter's wife and their family was all there. So it was fun. Even though we didn't do good at BFI, it felt like we did. Yeah, absolutely. I asked Jamie after the BFI, I said, so does that mean you guys are going rodeoing this year? And she said, heck no, not yet.
Is that they're keeping James back a little bit?
I don't know. If they are, they're gonna have a hard time. But yeah, I don't know that he's gonna meet her up sometime.
That's fun. That'll be fun. And so that means the buckskin is going to stay in James' trailer and not. Are we gonna steer Cheyenne or anything for you? Any plans?
If it works out, yeah, I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna ride her every chance I get. But I hate borrowing a horse.
Yeah. But
no.
You won San Angelo on Swagger, so I know you hate talking about horses, but Swagger, I mean, if anybody else owned that horse, there would have been like many documentaries on him already because of how old he is, how much he's won, and other people would have been touting him. You are really not that type. Tell me, though, about why you rode Swagger at San Angelo and what he felt like.
He was the only thing I had. I have him, and I have another little bay mare. I sent her to the BFI, and I sent Swagger to San Angelo because that's all I got. And I figured if there was a place I could ride in this winter, it'd be there.
Mm-hmm.
The barrier's pretty friendly. The steers were on the slower side, coming left a little bit. So I was like, well, that sounds like something he'll do good at. So I sent him over there, and he did good. So.
Did he feel... You've been riding him since 2009, right? Does that sound right?
I bought him in 07.
07.
Yep.
So...
I know I bought him in 07.
You bought him in 07. How has he changed? Does he feel slower? Does he feel like he goes left harder? What does he feel like?
Shoot. That's been a long time ago. I think he still feels the same, I think.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he lost a step or 3 or 4. I don't know. Feels the same to me.
It's funny. I cheated, and I read Julie's story that she did. So we've got a story on all the longest-lasting head horses, and that'll be in I think the July issue at this point. So that's a while from now. People are going to be listening to this podcast at the end of April. So everybody can look forward to an article on all the longest lasting head horses come July. But in there, you told her that there wasn't a secret for Swagger, that it was just you treated him like a horse. And that you've always said that about Swagger. He's never had magnet blankets or anything like that, has he?
No.
No. Not much of anything, huh?
Luckily enough, he didn't need much.
And he hasn't had any rehabs. He got hurt right before the finals, literally on the last steer in the run-through, which we certainly wrote about, and people probably knew. You didn't ride him at the finals. But it's not like he's been at the Aquatred place getting laser light therapy in between his swimming routines.
No, he got crippled that one day. The very last steer at the end of par, running the steer straight. It was probably my fault. I steer out a little too far and ended up going down the ring a little too far. And as soon as I faced, I could feel him. He was off. I was like, dang it. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, walk him out of it. Let's see. Walk it out. Nope, never walked out of it. But anyway, I really didn't know what happened to him. I knew he wasn't going to be good enough to ride the rest of the week just by looking at him. Just my knowledge. Like, well, I guess I'm going to have to send him home and try to find something else to ride. And I never got him checked on or never found out what was wrong. I just let him be. Well, my plan was to ride him there and then kind of quit riding him. Kind of be done riding him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got crippled, I was like, bummer. I guess this is where the road ends, man. Kind of didn't want to end this way, but that's how it ended up. I was like, well. So I was kind of wanting to quit riding him after that. But I never really found out what was wrong with him, but then just had him around the house, and he got better and got better. Pretty soon he was good enough to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm going to start riding him again a little bit. It seems like when you quit riding those little horses, they go downhill pretty fast. So I'll take him to the rodeos right around the house and practice on it and stuff like that.
I was going to say, is there anywhere where you're like looking forward to riding him that's a setup that'll just be That he's always done well?
No.
No? He's the one you won Cheyenne on, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was... can't remember what year that was.
I don't either. 2011? Maybe?
It was sometime between 2009 and... I rode with Caesar for 5 years, and I ended up winning Cheyenne with Caesar. So it was between 2009 and 5 years from then.
And you split it. Did you guys split it with somebody? Or did you win it outright?
I don't remember. Maybe we did split with Britt Williams. I don't know. I can't remember.
You and I should have notes before we get on a call. So if I ask questions that neither of us know the answer to, we can refer back to it. But... Huh?
What, the Team Roping Journal, huh? Is there any other company as big as you guys when it comes to roping and rodeo?
Well, I don't know. Probably not.
Not really, huh?
No, because the Cowboy Channel is awesome. They're big but they're not just so specific like we are.
How many followers does you have on Facebook?
Probably about 150,000. Probably not as many as you. How many? Oh, Instagram, almost 100,000. Like, we should be over 100,000 this week or next week. I was just looking at that. How many do you have?
No, this is about you guys. I was asking about you guys. There's a lot of information you guys put out there. Like, I see it all the time on my phone. All the news, the stories, and this and that. And probably don't get as many likes as you guys wish, but, I think everybody looks at it. I do.
Yeah, it is funny. And, I track people that go to the website. I look at that more than, like, the social engagement. I look at the social engagement, but there's a lot of people that maybe don't click on the post, or, like, don't like the post or comment on the post, but they probably go and check out whatever the story is, so.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. But I try to like it every now and then. You guys must make a lot of money.
I wish, right? I'm so rich. No.
Well, it just seems like you guys put out all of this information and news for free, and it's got to pay something.
Yeah, it's good business. We have, we have a lot of great partners who, like, people that believe in, like, covering futurity horses, so they will support our coverage of all the rope horse futurity business, or people who believe in what you guys do, and so they want to sponsor our coverage of what you guys do. It certainly keeps us busy because we have, just so many different campaigns going at one time, and a team of people now that works on it all, which is good.
Well, I think you guys are doing good. I read the stuff and even listen to the podcast. I'm a fan of rodeo and roping, so when I do drive down the road or sitting in the parking lot bored or something, I'll click on it, or I'll turn the volume up, or
listen to what secrets the other guys are telling us about. If you
kind of can learn a lot. Looking at this page and listening to stuff.
You can learn the Team Roper drama. Some of the barrel racers say you guys have worse drama than them, as far as, and they say in barrel racing nobody writes about the drama, whereas we write about what partners are. I could never write the real stories, but something kind of close, at least.
Yeah, well, the drama part, I don't know. I'm a barrel racing fan, too. I like barrel racing. Breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
I like breakaway. Who doesn't? Well, actually, there's guys that don't like breakaway, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's guys that grumble about it, for sure.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, even my friends sometimes.
Yeah. It's,
You'd be amazed, like, even rodeo committees or even stock contractors or just, like, I don't know why they're like that, but oh well.
Yeah, no, and the Breakaway Journal has been really fun. That's like our side gig that we do in our free time, and it's a lot of fun to write about all those girls because they're appreciative, they're engaged. Like, you don't have to try very hard to get a hold of a breakaway roper. Like, they are ready to talk about their event. So it's not like people who get sick of me calling them, asking them about what horse they rode over the weekend or whatever.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What about when are they going to have breakaway at the NFR?
What are they gonna? I hope this year. I'm kind of sick of talking about it at this point. I mean, I feel like it's time. That's how I'm glad you asked me my opinion on that. I feel like it's time. And
you need me to call someone?
Yes, make a phone call.
To who?
I think they need money. I think that's the big thing. So.
Money?
Yeah, money. I think they got to come up with
the worst excuse they could have.
I agree. I personally agree. I mean, $1.1 million is what they need to come up with to add it for equal money at the NFR, and I think somebody can come up with $1.1 million.
Yeah, that's not much.
And they said stalls. One of the things I did that panel with Jimmy Monroe and Jackie Crawford and Sherry Servey at the NFR during Cowboy Christmas last year, and we sat there and we talked about all the issues kind of facing women in rodeo. And that was they said there's not enough stalls at the Thomas and Mack, or not enough room for stalls at the Thomas and Mack, plus room for breakaway calves. Those were some of the logistical concerns, which in my opinion, I think surely we can figure that out. I think that sounds like something we can solve.
Even I can figure that one out.
I know. So that's why when you say that's why I'm almost done talking about it, because I feel like all of the real opposition to it isn't it's not worth talking about. We can just figure that stuff out. It's time.
No, I think the money part shouldn't be excused to stalls or just room wise. It shouldn't be a problem. I think those are just excuses, but I think the main reason is the people that are in charge just flat out just don't like breakaway. That's the main thing, I think. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep. I don't think you're 100% wrong there. I think there is a resistance for the sake of it in some parts of it. So I am ready for the breakaway to be added. It would be fun. It would be really explosive in the Thomas and Mack. It would be exciting for the fans. And I think everybody would watch it. You guys, you'd come to the fence, or I guess you can't really come to the fence in the Thomas and Mack, but you come over to watch it somehow.
Yep.
Sit down in the press room next to me to watch it at least.
Well, hopefully this will be old news by the time by the time December comes around.
I know. I keep thinking that, but then it's like September by the time we really have an answer. So hopefully December we're all watching Breakaway in the Thomas and Mack. Speaking of December, do you have any rodeo plans for the summer yet? I mean, we said there's a chance you'll put Keita in the trailer to go to Cheyenne or some of those bigger things. Do we know who will be in the box to the right of you?
No, I don't know. I don't have a horse good enough to go, or I don't have a horse good enough to call someone and ask if they want a rodeo, but I'm going to play around with a little bit. I'll go to some here and there.
I think you've told me that I don't have a horse good enough excuse for how many years now?
Oh, well, yeah, but now I'm serious now. Okay. Before it just felt that way, now I know it is that way. So I don't know that.
Yeah? How
to be announced.
To be announced. Well, wait. I hope I'm your first phone call to tell so that we can write that partner drama story whenever it happens.
Yeah, I like rodeoing. I like going. I hate leaving the house and I hate driving on the road, but I like entering and being there.
We're going to take a break here for you to listen to a word from our sponsors. Bimeda just might be the largest animal health company you have never heard of. Till now. Bimeda Animal Health's equine products have been trusted by veterinarians and horse owners since the 1960s, where the company's Irish roots began. Bimeda is one of the largest producers of dewormers for horses like Equimax, Bimectin, Duramectin, and Exodus. World-renowned equine athletes rely on polyglycan, a patented formula designed to replace lost or damaged synovial fluid, and Confidence EQ 1% pheromone gel that reduces and prevents equine stress, to name a few of their branded products. Bimeda encourages you to consult with your equine veterinarian before using any equine products for your horse. Also, please visit BimedaUS bymita.com to learn more about their full product offerings and where you can buy them. Oh, you know what? I asked you a question the other day that I don't want to not ask on this podcast. It was about, we're talking about horses now, and this was just when we were visiting. I had said, do you think you could have won what you won when you started out on the paint horse if it were the year 2022? Do you think you and your paint would still be able to kind of crack out and make a name for yourself in this day and age with these kids and these horses?
That we'll never know, but I feel like I know too much right now, and I think that part's going to get in the way, and I don't think we'll do as good as we did. When we first come out, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know much. I didn't know what the rudders are like, the setups, the situations, or really how to win. I was just there to go as fast as I can, and the paint was all I had. So if you threw me back in that same scenario and I was the inner out here, and I would think I would win something here and there. When I had that paint, it was never really consistent. We'd win the first round somewhere, and I'd come back and not do it in the second one, or vice versa, mess up with the first one. Just round money here and there. We'd place an average every now and then, but we did good enough just to get by. So that we'll never know, but but if I'm hard-headed enough to just think I could do it, I want to say, yeah, I probably could.
If you're at a Indian rodeo and there's a 18-year-old kid riding up on a horse just like your paint, and he comes and asks you for your advice about, like, is he ready and he ropes good, what would you tell him? Like, go for it? Or would you say, man, you need to rodeo around home and get some more horses together? What kind of advice would you give a kid in that same spot that you were?
That's tricky. That's tricky because I was once him at one time. And you have to go. You have to enter. You have to go. Even though you get your butt kicked, you still have to, because you have to figure it out. And nowadays, it seems like I don't know if it was as expensive as it was when I was going, but it sure is expensive now. But so I have to be the guy and say, yeah, you're just going to have to figure it out, and you just have to learn how to win.
Yeah.
You learn how to ride your horse, you learn how to win, you got to learn how to do this and that. But no, I would never discourage him. No one really did ever to me, so it seems like as far as backs that I remember, no one ever told me I was... Actually, there's one guy at one time who told me, he said, you know what, you'll never make the NFR. Your horse is not good enough and your partner is not good enough. I was working with Victorious at the time. This guy is... He's been around. I think he's made the NFR back in the past. His son made the NFR. I didn't say his name. And he told me one day, he's like, yeah, just flat out told me. I was like, you know what? You might be wrong. I respect what he said, I guess. Yeah, it made me mad and made me try harder and stuff like that. But I could see what he saw. But I guess if you say that to the right guy, you can use it as motivation. But if you say it to the wrong guy, you can also discourage them. So I still remember that to this day, and kind of want to say something to that guy. I seen him after I made the final and stuff like that, but I want to bring it up and stuff like, hey, remember that one time you told me I was never going to make the NFR? You said my horse wasn't good enough and my partner wasn't good enough. I want to tell him that one time. That I still, to this day, every time I see him, I just smile and shake his hand. I'm like, well, maybe it's a good thing you told me that.
Yeah. Say thank you.
Yeah, but no, I'll help them, and if they ask and this and that. But what I don't like to see is someone that gives up. Yeah, if it doesn't work, change something. Maybe get a different horse. Or if you're not roping right, yeah, change something you're roping.
Did you go to school? You went to college for a little bit, didn't you?
Yes, it went 3.5 years of college. I don't know why. I graduated high school, and it's like, well, now what? And everybody always said, well, if you're going to rodeo, you better go to school first. That way you'll always have something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Rodeo's never always going to be there. What about life after rodeo? This and that, like. And then at the time, everybody was saying, it felt like that's the thing to do. Feel mm-hmm. like you go through all of school and get to high school, and then you have to go to college and get a degree. And I felt like that was the perfect life. That's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't do that, it was a fail. That's what it felt like at that time. So I was like, well, I better put roping aside for a while and better go to college. Didn't even know why I was going, but I enrolled, went to 3.5 years of college, and I was like, finally, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to do something different now. And
what was your major?
To this day, I don't know why I went. I'm a fan of college if you know that you need it and you know what you want to do. But if you don't, I'm not a fan of it also.
Did you have a bunch of different majors, or did you stick with one because it didn't actually matter?
I got an associate's in industrial arts, so just like welding.
Welding, yeah.
There's construction and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, who knows? I might use it someday, but...
I mean, I think you do use it. You're welding every time I see you doing anything other than rodeo.
That's what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing it for myself. I never had a job in my life. So, I don't know why I went to college, and I guess people are listening. If you know what you're going to do in life, and it involves college, and you have to go to college, then do it. But if you don't, take a second to think about it a little bit, because I don't know. I think it's real important to know what you want to do, and just keep trying to do whatever you got to do to get to that point. Like, I guess if you want to be a doctor, yeah, there's no way other around. You have to go to college.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to do a trade, or it's just kind of who you know, and if you're a good worker, someone's going to hire you no matter what. You have a college degree or not. If you can show up to work every day, work hard, and you're non-replaceable, and they like you, it doesn't matter if you go to college or not. Even in some of the big office jobs, I think it's that way.
It's that way in what I do. I mean, there's certainly a lot you can learn in college, but if you don't, I've also had people that have 4-year degrees, master's degrees that, that can't do the work, that didn't use that time wisely. So.
Yeah, there's something about somebody that's just a good worker. Like, when you hire them, they're there. You can depend on them. You can trust them with anything you got. Just those are the kind of people that seem like employers are looking for.
Yeah,
and you can work yourself up the ladder so fast if you're that way.
Yep.
And they never even ask you for a college degree or a background check, or those are the kind of jobs I like.
Yeah. The girl who, I have a girl who exercises my horses every day because I sit here and talk to you guys all day. And she comes and she's in the National Guard, I think. And she goes to National Guard training every day, and she goes to her college classes in the morning, and then she works here all afternoon. And I mean, if you tell her, hey, go catch those horses I have to worm, I need them all wormed, she'll go catch all the horses in the farthest pastures away and tie them all up perfect. Like, she's the best help. My husband always jokes he wishes he could find as good a help as I have, because I would hire her to do anything. I would hire her to come work for the magazine because she busts her butt and just is that way. And I don't know what makes people that way or doesn't make them that way.
Yeah, no, they're those kind of people. They're hard to come by. They're hard to come by. I read something one time. It said something like, I don't know. It said something like, make sure you do something you want to do, or something like that. like if you have don't kill yourself every day to try to get the job that you want, and if you drop dead one day and those guys just replace you in 2 weeks, you want to be a person where you can't be replaced. Like learn a certain trade, like have a certain talent that not very many people have, and find out something that you can do. You can work for that person that you have this special talent, whatever it is, and then you can go a long ways with that.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of people nowadays just have the regular, go to school, I want this job, and all of a sudden, like I said, if you just drop dead one day and those employers like, well, the next person in line. Like, so, yeah, but stay in school, I guess. I mean, I always heard that my whole life, but that could be tricky.
Okay, I have to ask.
I'm probably going to get bashed on that.
No, I don't think so. I think you were honest. I have to ask. It's funny. You're not just one person has said, well, everybody thinks Big Gay is like the ultimate American cowboy, but until he started a rodeo, he was like, wore baggy shorts and chains and did not dress like you dress now. When you were in college, did you dress like a baller?
Chains?
Yeah, that's what they said. You wore like gold chains.
Someone said I wear gold chains?
Yes.
I never wore a gold chain ever.
Silver chains?
Nope. And not even silver chains. And I never even wore anything. I never wore, what do you call those shortcuts or shorties or cutoffs or whatever?
I think like basketball shorts.
My whole life, other than when I was swimming.
So
at night, so I see my pajamas are long.
That's funny. That was the rumor that you were.
I'll take it. I like it. I mean, that's one thing about rumors is they could say, well, I mean, that's different. But yeah, I'll take it. I mean, heck, if it makes me cooler, yeah, I'll do it.
That you were a baller before you were a cowboy?
I've heard a song like that one time. Does it say something like, I'm a baller?
I don't know, maybe. I think so. But I don't know if I don't think the lyrics go, I was a baller before I was a cowboy. I don't think those are actual lyrics, but we could suggest it. Maybe Cody Johnson will sing it someday.
Yeah, no, I'll take the role in that, but I don't think so.
No, not true. False. That's a false narrative. Got it. Okay. We said we were going to go 25 minutes. We are at 40 minutes.
Wow.
Look at us. I know, we could have part 1 and part 2.
Sorry for whoever's listening.
No, I think your episode has like a very high retention rate the last time because it tracks that on the internet, how long people listen. And yes, you were in the 85 percentile, which is very high for a podcast. That means people just
Let's give them something to talk about that they missed out on this last 2 minutes.
Okay, Derek. Well, where is the next place that people are going to see you? Did you enter Guyman?
Yes, I entered Guyman. It's a week and a half from this day of this podcast. It's funny. I actually thought Guyman was going to be 2 days from today.
Mm-hmm.
So I was planning on going and this and that. I planned my schedule, whatever. Anyway, I planned a week early. So yesterday I was at a rodeo over the weekend. And I was talking to Eric Rogers, talking about making plans of going over there together. And I said, yeah, I'll meet you over there on whatever, Tuesday or this and that, we'll leave. And then he's like, okay, or this, that. And it was still going as planned. And I was a week early, and he knew exactly when it was and this and that. And then he's like, what about the following week? Let's go to the roping over there at a different place. It's like, we'll be in Guyman then or something. He's like, what do you mean? Anyway, he ended up telling me that Guyman was a week later. I would have, just imagine if I would have left the house Tuesday morning really early, got all the way to Guyman Tuesday night, and no one was there.
You almost would have had to go jackpotting in Texas, like your worst nightmare.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, Guyman in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Go there and see if I can catch 3 muleys. And then after that, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. From there on, it seems like that it takes a big break until Reno.
Well, and now they're going to have, this will be the last Reno Open on the same day as the BFI would have been. And it's like the last year of that contract there. So it might be the last one ever. Who knows?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the Resistol Reno Open this year. So are you going to try, either way, like, is that something that Coulter would come to you with? Or come with you too?
I'm sure he'll go there. If not, I'll make him. I like Reno. I like to go to that roping, and I like to go to rodeo.
Do you have Kita booked to go to Guyman?
No, I've got a different one Bay mare I'm going to take.
You've had her for the Bay mare you've had since 2015, is that right?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
For a while. She's always just, what they say, she's always just been on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's on the front burner.
Where does she need to improve? Is she going to ever be like what you want, or is she just what you got?
No, she's set in stone now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
She don't leave the box that smooth.
Mm-hmm.
She could score better. She's okay in the field.
Mm-hmm.
But she don't score good enough, and she don't leave the box smooth enough. That's the main reason I don't like her. Other than that, I can get by with her.
She's the one you won the title fights on, but she did not leave the box smooth when you won that. That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, see, even you can see it.
I have a picture. No, I have a picture. That's all. The reason I know that is because I distinctly...
You can tell that for 1,000 words.
I distinctly remember because she I remember how she looked in the box. I don't mean that your horse is no good. That isn't what I'm implying.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just being honest. I guess that. Yeah, I wish I could find a good one, but they're hard to find. And then if you do find one, they cost some money.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a limit of what you would spend on one? If you found one?
Yeah, I think $250,000 is my limit.
Is it? Okay.
No, I don't have a limit. I have a limit. I don't have one. Range, I don't have an exact limit. It's not high, I tell you that.
I got it. All right. Well, on that note that you don't want to spend money on horses, I guess we can end this podcast, Eric.
Cheapskate, huh?
Yeah, cheap sucker.
Let's see.
Well, thank you so much for 51 minutes and 52 seconds of your time today. It is absolutely the delight of my career that we get to do these, Derek, and I'm not kidding. So.
Well, thanks. I like not listening to myself. I like listening to the podcast too. They're going down the road. I probably listen to every one you got so far, so I'm a fan. I enjoy them. I'm not going to listen to mine, but...
I don't listen to mine. I mean, not that I'm ever on anybody's podcast, but I don't really re-listen to my own voice. It's hard to listen to. It used to be a lot harder when I first started, as Synergy, I think, pointed out that I used to sound really grumpy on these podcasts. So sorry to everybody who listened to the first years. I'm getting better, maybe.
No, you're doing good. I'm glad you guys do what you do, and even the other podcasts that involve ropers and riders and stuff like that. I'd listen to all the Western-related stuff.
Oh, and we're going to see you, so everybody that's listening knows. We will, Gabby will be heading down with our videographer to Window Rock to go to the Warriors and Rodeo Clinic that you and Eric and Aaron are doing, and that is for Native American veterans and first responders, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes. Eric, he's the man in charge of that. He just called me one day and said, "Hey, I'm putting on a roping school over here. Can you help me?" "Roping school? No, I can't do that." He's like, "Well, it's it's for the veterans of the Navajo Res. Like, well, all right, I'll do it. So I'll go there and try to do my best.
Well, I am.
But yeah, it is a good cause. It was a no-brainer once you said where it was at and what it was for.
Yeah, and we're going to be there too because it's one of those things that we want to certainly be helpful and involved with and make sure people know about the cause because it seems like it'll be a good place to get you three together teaching roping, which is rare because Aaron is kind of like you in that he doesn't really like to talk about roping too much. You can get Rogers to talk about it, but it'll be interesting to see you three together teaching.
We'll be standing behind Eric.
Yeah.
What do you want to dummy at, Eric? What rope do you want?
Eric is polished, man. He is a polished guy these days. I'm always impressed.
Yeah, when you take his hat back, set his hat back a little bit.
Don't say that.
Hairline is getting polished.
His forehead is polished. Eric, I'm sorry.
He's a man. He won the time event the other day. Like he's the big dog in our group.
I don't know. I think he is. He certainly is the big dog on the in the books right now for sure. But it seems like they. I don't know. If the three of you walk into a convenience store together in Tuba City, who do they go to for autographs first?
Virginia, that's where he's from.
Well, okay, Tuba City was a bad example. I said the wrong because that's where he's from. If you
like Derek, who are you?
Not Tuba City. Okay, if the three of you walk into a convenience store in Window Rock, whose autograph do they want first?
I don't know that.
Yours. If we look at, and honestly, I was just looking at this. I'm going to tell you this on the podcast so people can know this. I was looking at the top performing articles since 2013 on our website. And the number one performing article is the one about your grand entry horse.
Really?
Yep. Of all the things that I've written, I think I wrote that in 15 minutes before the round that night. And that is the number one performing article of all time. Most clicked on, most read.
And then didn't involve roping, you bet.
It was like Derek Begay's grand entry horse and gear pays homage to the American cowboy or something like that. And yep, it was about you honoring the working cowboy.
Well, you must have you did get on that article. No, I like that one. I remember it. It was good. I did get a lot of response on that too.
That was wild. Yep. No. So that's why I say if you guys walked into a convenience store, they would ask you for your autograph first. But also, you're the oldest, so.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Derek. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you all for listening again to this episode of The Score with Derek Begay, our most popular episode of the year. Not surprising, it doesn't matter whether Derek is making the finals, is circuit rodeoing, or is just out there in the desert of the Navajo Reservation chasing wild cattle. Derek Begay is still a fan favorite. It's called, like I said, the Derek Begay Effect. If somehow you missed Derek's review of the barrel racing at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, you do need to go check that out because it is gold. It's on Barrel Racing Magazine on Facebook and also on TikTok and on Instagram. It's everywhere. I'm sure people have stolen it and screen recorded it because it is so funny and so absolutely, truly Derek. So check it out, Barrel Racing Magazine on Facebook. Thank you again to our producer, Craig Jones with the Money Barrel Podcast. That's our sister podcast. If you want to check it out, it's the Money Barrel Podcast on Facebook.